How much is this watch? What's even the point of something like that? Ugh. Well, let's find out. Hey guys, this is Steve Halleck of TickTocking.com. As always, you can find me at Steve Halleck on Instagram. And TickTocking.com has all my watches. For those who follow me, you know that it's been a little while since I posted a video. Sorry about that. I had a new baby, which is very exciting. Also have moved and changing around the office, so you may notice some different paintings behind me here. By the way, I had a ton of questions in the past about that painting that was behind me in my other videos. That's by an artist named Holton Rower. But no more of that one behind me, so we'll move on to these two beautiful oil paintings back here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make a bunch of watch reviews in the next few days or so that I can kind of edit and have come out in the next week or few weeks and get kind of rolling back on the videos again. You can hear maybe my baby in the background. He's coming with us to the office for right now, so it's always a little bit interesting. And I guess this is kind of what I want to talk about today. You know, on these more like podcast videos, I like to discuss sort of more higher concept ideas than just watches. For watches, you know, it's better to look at a watch and just talk about that watch. But for just talking, I think there are a lot of interesting questions brought up by watch collecting. And one of them is sort of what's the point? You know, it's a lot of money. We spend a lot of time looking at these things. It's sort of a materialistic pursuit, which is something that often gets a bad rap. And so I've done some podcast topics in the past on this, like I think one was kind of how to justify the money aspect of it, which we can get back into another time. I like to discuss that. But just in terms of like the actual value that we even get for these things, I think about all the time myself. You know, I spend my whole life around watches, and I don't really want to waste my life. And also I find myself just loving watches, and it's like, you know, why? What's the purpose? So what is it about this that I'm connecting with, and is that a good or a bad thing, basically? And so I kind of had an interesting experience with this over the past month or two since all these changes started happening in my life. So you can see I'm really casual today, and I've been very sort of casual for the last 6 weeks or so. I've barely even worn watches. Because, you know, I don't know how many of you have kids, but a newborn baby, you're mostly like in the house. You know, you're there, you're dealing with him. The chances of banging your brand new Grubel 4C double tourbillon against some piece of baby equipment or a car seat or a crib or something skyrockets as you're underslept and overstressed and overwhelmed. And, you know, really, who are you showing off for? Because my little 1-month-old son doesn't really care about my high complications at this point. So not a lot of watch wearing recently, but it has been sort of quality over quantity. So it kind of broke me out of my habit of just sort of strapping on a watch every day. And anytime you break a habit or disrupt a rhythm, at least for me, it makes me kind of re-examine it and think about it a little bit. And so I think I've come to a new appreciation of one of the reasons that I like wearing a watch. And that is that even in very private times, even when I'm just alone with my family, just in my house, not going to do anything. Maybe my hair's a mess. Maybe I'm in just a t-shirt and shorts, maybe whatever. If I felt like I needed to just have something special or do something nice, or just felt like I needed something, I found that when I put on a watch that I really liked, even if only for an hour or an afternoon or a day or whatever, it kind of shifted my whole feeling towards everything, really, and gave me something different to put my attention on and let me appreciate the craft of it, the beauty of it, not only appreciate it in general like I normally do, but kind of appreciate it newly as I was going through sort of changes in my life. And I think that is really at the heart of what makes people like us love watches. For me, this is kind of a private hobby. I mean, weird enough as it is my job also, and I'm like a very obviously public person within it. My friends aren't really into watches. My family thinks they're cool, but I'm not surrounded by watch people in my normal life. And so the general enjoyment of my own watches is really just for myself. They are certainly not in any way a show-off thing amongst my friends. None of them have any idea what it is that I am wearing or what I even do, basically. And I kind of like it that way, and I find that there is, when you get used to kind of receiving that level of value or that type of value from watches, there's a lot there to be gotten that I really can't find in any other place. I'm into different things. I really like my espresso machine. I like nice things in general. But there's nothing really quite as nice as a nice watch. And so I think that it's important to, without getting too like new agey BS here, but to kind of take some time with your watch and really like appreciate it and kind of see how it makes you feel, see how it makes you evaluate the world around you a little bit differently when it is strapped on. That these objects do have some sort of soul within them. At least the good ones do. I think maybe the bad ones have like a bad soul, or like a soul-sucking quality. I'm not quite sure. I don't tend to wear bad watches, but good watches, if you allow them to, they can really kind of enrich the daily experience, and just for you. It's not. I've never in my life have I been out and somebody has been like, oh my God, that's an amazing Grubel Forsey on your wrist or something. It just doesn't happen. So it really is for me, but there is a level of that coming in and elevating my experience in the rest of my life. And I'm not exactly sure what that phenomenon is, but some people say, well, the only things that are important are your family or your experiences or something like that, and material things shouldn't matter. And I think that's just a little bit overly simplistic, because you can draw from each of those areas to improve everything about the other area. And so everything is kind of interconnected, and this experience of having extreme quality and really understanding something, striving for understanding at least, appreciating something deeply, recognizing that something great is on your wrist and having an appreciation of that greatness, and letting the idea of that, the strive for perfection that it took to even create that object, and the ethos behind that kind of soak in, is a really valuable thing about this hobby that I don't think people would understand. Certainly a lot of people would just immediately knock someone for spending a certain amount of money on a watch, and they obviously have a point, but I think that they're missing a lot of the issues. So this is just kind of musings that I've had as I've been running around and changing diapers and soothing a child and trying to fix up a pool and moving around my desk and getting a new one and all the things that have been occurring in life that are all good things. Luckily, it's summertime. Summertime's always a little bit slow, but if you've seen my website, you can see that it's actually been a little bit wild. I've had really consistent business pieces coming in, going out, really good stuff coming around. I'm trying to hit things at different price ranges. I've been doing really great business in the very, very, very high end, a lot of Grubel 4C type stuff or themselves. But I've just brought in a bunch that's in the kind of 30, 40, 50 range, and a few other things in the 20s and even in the teens. Below that, it's really hard to find something good. Every now and then something cool comes up. But yeah, I think right now I've got something in almost every tens digit that there is on my website at TickTocking.com. So always check in there, always check in on my Instagram, and you'll see what the new stuff is. That's the easiest place, especially when I'm overwhelmed and running between things in life. A lot of times I put things just on Instagram because it's so fast right when they come in, and a lot of times they sell before they ever make it to the website, because that's then a whole other thing. I gotta picture it. Yeah, I do everything myself. So picturing it, writing a description, putting it up on the site, all the edit, all of everything, that's only me. And so when I'm overwhelmed already, that stuff might not happen. So Instagram is definitely the best place to find what I actually have in at any time. I do try to mark things sold on my site quickly after they're sold, at least. So if something is there, it should be available, but there's usually stuff that is available that isn't on there, and you'll find it on Instagram. So, okay, that's my piece for now. I promise you I will be back soon with some actual watch reviews, so you don't have to just listen to me bloviating endlessly. And thanks for sticking on the channel. I think we hit 10,000 subscribers while I was gone, so that's pretty cool. I really appreciate your support. Tell your friends, share it. Maybe we'll hit 100,000 subscribers next. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.